When we look around any firm or organization on a day-to-day basis, we see people meeting in groups and teams. We have leadership teams, we have special task groups, we have project teams, and those are some of the formal structures. Then there are informal structures where people just come together to talk about the work that they do. With all of this work going on in groups and teams, I have 3 reasons why it's important that OD practitioners learn about group dynamics. One is that the work is happening in teams. Even with our new technologies in OD of bringing everyone in the room, that work gets broken down into groups. Second, groups really are complex, and because the OD practitioner's job is to support the health of the organization, learning about these group dynamics with theories, tools, and methodologies are very critical for the OD practitioner. And thirdly, and probably most importantly, is the business case. With all this work going on in groups, it stands to reason when groups are performing well, the organization performs well, and everyone feels better about the work that they do. On the other side, when groups are not performing well, everybody loses. I have what I affectionately call the gang of 7 plus you, meaning the practitioner, him or herself. So I'll list them. There is content and process, 1. 2, and under process is my drop-down menu of task process and maintenance or relationship process. 3rd would be communication. 4th is decision-making. 5th is leadership. 6th are complex group dynamics. Oh, I put in that group conflict, politics, differences, diversity, multiculturalism, covert processes. And then there's stages of group development. And the U has to do with the OD practitioner. Use of self and presence are concepts in OD that have significant importance because it speaks to how the practitioner shows up and what the practitioner does once there. Is the practitioner making a difference? Is the practitioner taking risk? Is the practitioner aware of biases, tendencies, assumptions that the practitioner holds? But use of self and presence are critically important. For some reason, practitioners think that when a group has met one time and the group returns the next time, the group is the same. But that's not the case. The whole idea of group dynamics suggests to us that groups change. And groups change for a number of reasons, including change in leadership changes the group, change in purpose changes the group, change in task changes the group, and believe it or not, the completion of a huge project also changes the group. The second thing I would say to the OD practitioner, establish a decision-making process. Will decisions be made by consensus? Will decisions be made by majority vote? Will decisions be made by a few people? Will decisions have to be made when everyone is in agreement or unanimously? But establish a decision-making process. Get them a model, and I have 2 I'm going to suggest, and learn facilitation skills. So get a model. I like Richard Bacard's GRIPPY model. GRIPPY is an acronym for goals, roles, processes, and interpersonal relationships. Actually, Beckhart says that if a group attends to goals, roles, and processes, it will minimize or decrease the interpersonal dynamics that are often conflict-ridden. That's why I love that model. The second model is a very practical model that's used globally, and you probably have heard about it here. And that's Tuckman's forming, storming, norming, performing, and transforming. I love that model because it tracks the stages of life of a group from beginning, middle, and end. So those are two models. The second thing is while I distinguish facilitation from process consultation is distinct in that the OD practitioner is actually just observing the group and looking at its process and dynamics. And facilitation is about really being active and getting the group through its agenda. So if the OD practitioner starts with just learning how to get a group from beginning, middle, and end in its work, I think that that's a good start. In addition to driving home the point that groups are important in organizations, I can think of about 4 things. One is that groups and teams need leadership support in doing their work. Secondly, that there must be a climate and culture that sends the message that groups are important. So our reward and recognition systems must be consistent with group work so that everyone feels that what they're doing is being regarded by leadership as important. Thirdly, when leaders charge groups and teams with a task, they should be clear about the purpose, the goals, and the expected outcomes. And fourth, I would suggest that leaders learn basic facilitation skills, how to run a meeting. And I think if we get to that, we're off to a good start. We'll have more productive groups and teams and organizations.